Good morning, everyone. This research title is The Impact of Exchange Rate on Stock Market Performance. Empirical Evidence from Sri Lanka. The stock market is one of the fastest growing sectors in the world at present. Such a stock market has been seen growing in Sri Lanka as well. Various factors influence the performance of such a stock market. In particular, stock prices in the foreign market, GDP, corporate performance, and the exchange rate. Of these, the exchange rate is the main one. Data of exchange rate depict the increasing trend over time, while stock market performance shows high fluctuations over time in Sri Lanka. Thus, this research aims to identify the impact of the exchange rate on the performance of the Colombo Stock Exchange. The first graph is shown the trend of the stock price indicator in Sri Lanka 1985 to 2018. We can see that the price trend of all stock has an increasing trend with the base level. And second graph is shown the trend of exchange rate in Sri Lanka 1985 to 2018. The graph indicates the increasing growth of the exchange rate. Next, move to the literature review part. There are more literatures which have reviewed for this study, but here only two more relevant literatures are given. Using Chinese data, Kumaran 2019 examined the impact of exchange rate on stock returns over the period from 2008 to 2018 and employs autoregressive distributed lag approach. The result shows that in the short run and long run, the exchange rate, interest rate, and inflation have a statically negative impact on the earnings of the stock markets. Olukwenka 2012 examines how the exchange rate affects the growth of the stock market in the short and long term based on Nigeria using time series data from the period to 1985 to 2009. Johansson co-integration test and the Krenner causality test were used to analyzing the data. It concluded that have a positive impact on the performance of the stock market in the short run and a negative impact in the long run. Next, the growing importance of the stock market performance is in any countries. However, it has been an area that has not been empirically researched much for the Sri Lankan case. Even there are limited studies on the performance of the stock market in Sri Lanka that do not give enough concern to the impact of the exchange rate in Sri Lanka. Therefore, this study attempts to fill this gap by investigating the influences of the exchange rate and on the performance of the stock market in Sri Lanka. The main objective of this study is to examine the effect of the exchange rate on the performance of the stock market in Sri Lanka and to make policy suggestions as to how the government could improve its performance of the economy by taking into the account of effect of exchange rate on stock prices. This study used time series data from 1985 to 2018. In this study, the dependent variable is price index of all stocks, and the independent variables are exchange rate, inflation, foreign direct investment, and interest rate. The data of variables were collected from the World Development Indicators and Central Bank of Sri Lankan annual reports. In first steps of the estimation procedure, had to confirm the order of integrating of all time series. According to the Unit 2 test, foreign direct investment and inflation are stationary at level, while the other variables are stationary at first difference, implying that variables are stationary at combinations of I0 and I1. The series are of different integrating orders, so that is suggested to proceed with ARDL model. ARDL bound testing procedure is used to investigate the existence of long-term relationship among the variables. The procedure is shown by this equation. In the next step of the estimation procedure, obtain the short-run dynamic of parameters and long-run adjustment of the model by estimating the error correction version of ARDL model pertaining to the variables in this equation. IC suggests to employ 4 lags as an optimum lag length for model from unrestricted VR model. Nevertheless, the criterion selected ARDL 110104 model as the best model among the top 20 models. ARDL bound testing approach confirmed that exit co-integrating relationship among ASPI and other explanatory variables. Hence, it could be concluded that there is strong evidence to support the existence of a long-term association between ASPI and explanatory variables. Even though exchange rate and foreign direct investment affect ASPI, none of them has statically effect on ASPI in the long term. In contrast, inflation and interest rate have statistically significant impact on all stock price index in the long term. Inflation has positive impact and interest rate has negative impact on ASPI in the long term. Results of diagnosis test confirm that Residuals are distributed normally. Residuals are not serially correlated. There is no specification error in the estimated model, and disturbance term on the equation is homoscedasticity, respectively. Meanwhile, recursive estimates Cushing plot lies within the upper and lower critical bound at 5% significant level, so that it ensures the stability of model. With regard to short-term relationship exchange rate, foreign direct investment, inflation and interest rate have a significant impact on price index of all stocks. Meanwhile, ECT is negative significantly at 5% level and negative sign, which implies that the price index of all stocks model move backward towards steady state line with a speed of 96.71% in each year, one period after the exogenous shocks. In conclusion of this study, the results of this study have shown that there is no correlations between exchange rate and all stock price index in the long term, whereas there is a positive relationship between exchange rate and all stock price index in the short run. Inflation has a positive effect on all stock price index in the long run, while it does not have significant impact on all stock price index in the short run. Moreover, interest rate has a negative and significant impact on all stock price index both in the long run and short run. The Krenger causality test indicates that there is a unidirectional causality between the price index of all stocks and the exchange rate. Finally, policy and recommendations. The exchange rate has a direct relationship in the short run and non-relationship in the long term with the price index of all stocks. Therefore, the exchange rate can be used as a policy tool to keep the stock market stable. The government should implement appropriate monetary policies to increase the efficiency of the stock market. As the stock market is seen as the main source of revenue from the government, in this way, effective modifications to the system of influential variables need to be made. To attract stock market investment in this way, the government must take steps such as maintaining stock prices, maintaining political and economic stability, and developing market facilities and infrastructures. At the same time, the government will develop the distribution system using new technologies such as information and communication technology and implement policies that will facilitate easier participations in stock exchanges. Therefore, stock market policymakers can focus on these and formulate policies to increase the stability of the exchange rate and increase stock market performance. These are some references in this research. Thank you so much.